and welcome to Terrafirmacraft. This is going to be a new series that we're going to be playing. Basically, it's been a while since I've done a series, and I really wanted to do another one, but the ones that I had were kind of, I wasn't able to give as much time as I wanted, and I was falling behind, so I just decided to start a new one, and maybe that'll reinvigorate me, and maybe I'll get back to work on those older ones. But anyway, so we're going to do Terrafirmacraft, and here's a list of mods. I'm not going to read through them, but these are the ones that come, for the most part, they come by virtue of the Terra Firma pack. I added a couple. I added Decocraft, I added Carpenter's Blocks, I added a custom NPCs. Where's Carpenter's Blocks? Thought I added Carpenter's Blocks. I better check that between now and... Oh, here they are. Okay, good. Yeah, so I added about 3 or 4 mods, but basically they are the ones that are in the Terra Firma pack. So, as I create a new world here, let me just tell you that the Terra Firma pack is available on the AT launcher. It is basically not all-inclusive, but it has most of the non-game breaking mods that would be that you'd want with TFC. The only ones that I added were just to add a little bit better options for building as far as Carpenter's Blocks, custom NPCs to allow me to create 2 things. One, recipes that aren't in the game right now, and 2, maybe make a little village, an NPC village kind of a thing, because they don't really like that. The developers of TFC don't really like villages or NPC ideas. And finally, Decocraft, because I saw Etho did that and I wanted to add that, so anything Etho does is pretty good to do, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and create this new world. And then what we're going to do, hopefully this gives us a good world right off the bat. If it doesn't, I reserve the right to create at least 2 more until we find something that's not outrageous. Really what I'm looking for in World Gen and TFC are good rock types and maybe some good tree types and kind of fun, interesting environments. Now, for those who haven't played TFC before, it's short for Terrafirmacraft. Basically, this is a Minecraft mod that overhauls the entire game, and it makes it a lot more survival-oriented and somewhat realistic, I guess. Ooh, this is a really interesting place. So we've got shirt for the rock, and then I noticed immediately that we've got this large lake or something over here. The World Gen, by the way, takes forever in this because it's really intensive. There's a lot more layers. If you look at this, you can see my Y is 146. That's a lot taller than it would be in vanilla Minecraft. So here we have a lake, and that's not a bad thing to start out next to because it gives us fresh water. You can tell it's fresh water because there are these cattails, and so if you right click on it, you'll drink it. And there's an ice chunk that tells me that, oh yeah, we're pretty far north, 11,726. That's pretty far north if you look at the mini map there. That's journey map, by the way. So TFC overhauls the world and makes it this much more interesting, survival-oriented thing. That there's a lot of different mechanics and things that are probably a lot more, what's the word? Just a lot more challenging in general. So I really wish I could sit here and explain everything to you, but I really haven't got the time. And the reason I say that is because this is tough, especially right at first. It's a tough world to live in and survive in, so you really got to get going on your survival stuff right away. So I'm going to, you cannot just go out and punch a tree to get wood in this game. You have to create an axe, and I'm going to create an axe, but before I do anything else, this is my take on this, which is a little bit different maybe than other folks who have done LPs for Terrafirmacraft, is I'm going to start out in not even necessarily the Stone Age. Well, it is the Stone Age, but I'm going to be a wandering nomad for the first at least day of this game, maybe more, because I really want to find a good starting location. I don't want to just build a base where I happen to spawn. Even though that's convenient, if you die without a bed, it's still not necessarily the best idea. So here I've got these pine trees just for what it's worth, and over here I've got these white cedars, and then I've got ash. So white cedar, ash. And I'm going to get saplings from each of those. And the reason being, there's some minerals already. I'm sorry, that's just chert. Chert is such a light rock, the biome that I'm in, that it really looks a lot like minerals. But we'll get to mineral gathering in a little bit. Right now I'm gathering these saplings because wherever I end up, it's quite possible, and I would say even likely, that these trees aren't going to be there naturally. So I want to bring the trees with me, as it were. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't drop saplings. So just like regular Minecraft, the leaves contain the saplings. And the problem is that when you chop down a tree in TFC, the leaves don't automatically drop the things that give you the saplings. You have to manually do it in this. So I've got a couple of these white cedar saplings that should be good enough, but maybe one more just to be on the safe side. Because you never know if maybe if you plant a tree, whether it's going to necessarily spawn saplings or not. I guess 2 is probably fine. I'm risking it a little bit, but I guess we can always come back. We've got this area explored on the map. This walkthrough is going to be mostly instructive, or I tend to play in a way that is educational and helps people get a better feel for the game, like how to do things. But ultimately at the end of the day, you're probably, if you're actually watching this, probably going to be somewhat familiar with the basics anyway, so it's probably a little bit superfluous. By the way, I didn't mention this because it's not as important, but you do get sticks as well from chopping or from breaking leaves off of trees. So unfortunately, I hate to waste so much time doing this on day 1, but if I'm going to be nomadic, I feel like it's necessary. What I really need to be focusing on are food, water, and shelter, which makes a lot of sense at this stage of the game because, there we go, okay. So I'm going to create an axe so I can get some shelter, some items that I need for sheltering. But what I mean is that basically you've got to get a shelter up pretty much on night 1, because if you don't, you're going to end up in a situation where you are just completely overwhelmed by mobs. I'm just going to create a set of tools real quick. These are the shapes that make these tools. You can pause it. I might explain it. They basically just like Minecraft, they look like the thing. Now, the mechanic is a little different because it's not crafting at this point. It's called napping, which is when you take 2 or more stones in your hands and you make a tool with them. And that's what I've done to get 2 axes, 2 knives, and a shovel. Oh, and we've got one of the most important things in the game at this point is this mineral right here. So this is copper, and it's native copper. So I'm going to push J, open up my mini-map, and I'm just going to mark it on the map. Now, I need to do some color coding. I think for minerals, they're just exposed with nuggets on the surface like this. I'm going to do red for today. So copper. And red makes sense for copper anyway, but it's going to be red for all minerals that are on the surface, which have no exposed ore veins. And we'll cover all this, when it happens. But basically what happens here is I find these minerals laying on the surface, and I walk over and I grab them, and that is an indication that there's probably copper down below the ground somewhere. And the reason you want to know that is because eventually we're going to have to start doing deep mineral mines, and it's, you can't just kind of randomly start digging like in vanilla Minecraft, because you'll dig forever and you'd be really lucky to find anything. On this one, you've got to use some common sense and really try to get some targeted mining. Okay, there's a deer. A deer would not be a bad thing to have right now because it's meat. And this is going to also do something called improving my butchering skill, which is a mechanic and oh boy, he's running fast. In TFC, that's a little different from vanilla. Vanilla. By the way, I got the damage indicators mod with this mod pack, and so I can see exactly how much life he has. Okay, so you can see I got a little bit of meat, 24 ounces, a rawhide, bones, and a bladder, and a tendon. I don't even know what the tendon's for. Terrafirmacraft. Okay, that must be. It's one of the add-ons that's a little a little bit unfamiliar with me. It'd be nice if I could kill another one of the deer. This would give me enough meat to sustain me during my travels. So on the mini-map, some of the animals don't have little portraits. By the way, deer are one of several animals that spawn like old school Minecraft, where they just spawn and then eventually despawn, and there'll be infinity spawning over time, because there's not actually... Ooh, we have already made it to a dacite layer. So this, you see that on the NEI thing, it's dacite. If I come over here where we were, okay, see, actually a better example is going to be this beach. I'll show you at the beach. There's a rock boundary. Rock boundaries are important because different rock layers have different types of advantages. For example, chert, where I started here, which I'm in now. Well, actually, I'm in dacite now, but here, I'll just go to here. This is a very clear way to show this. Okay, this is sand, but it's dacite based and chert based. Now, chert is good because it has things like bismuth and iron. It has magnetite and limonite, and it's an interesting rock. It's a type of sedimentary rock. And this is one of the cool things about this mod, is it tries to emulate the real world. Whereas dacite is an igneous extrusive rock, which means that it was created through volcanic forces inside the earth, but that it was extruded when it cooled, as opposed to igneous intrusive like granite, where it cooled inside the earth still. And those are just basic geology concepts. They're not necessarily crucial for this game. What is crucial is that these different types of rocks produce different types of minerals, and the dacite in particular is going to be a lot better than the chert would be, as kind of makes sense. What we really would like to find would be marble or gneiss, granite, or gabbro, those G rocks, especially gabbro, because gabbro is the only rock that certain types of minerals form in. I mean, I guess there's a lot of that, but so the reason that I'm being a nomad on day one here is because I really would like to find good locations. So we know that, and actually I'm just going to put this on the mini map. We know that right here is the chert dacite border. So I'm going to put chert dacite on my mini map marker, and I'm going to make that, let's use white to signify rock layer boundaries. So red is surface ore, and then white is rock layer boundaries. So it looks like the chert goes off this direction, the dacite goes off this direction. You can kind of see the coloration differences. But I'm going to head south, because I want to head south anyway. If you look at my mini map, ooh, there's all these little caves and stuff. If you look, ooh, there's marble. That did not take long at all. Jeez. Actually, marble would be a really cool place to build, because marble is a great building block. But we're going to call this dacite marble. Now, this is an extremely unusually close rock boundary, and it actually might not be the worst place to start thinking about settling down, because I'm going to grab some of this clay here. Clay is marked by these yellow flowers, these goldenrods. That just means the dirt underneath the ground there is going to be clay and not actual dirt. Anyway, basically what we've got going on is we've got rock layers that are, and we got sugar cane. I really don't even want to chop that down, because I might come back to it. So I'm going to, I hardly ever mark crops on the map, but I'm going to mark this sugar cane. And I'll leave it the purple color, that's fine. I really got to chop down some trees though and get ready for bed, so I'm going to do that. It's really unusual to find rock layers that change that quickly. Usually it takes hundreds of coordinates. But this one we got lucky, and we're in this marble biome. And marble actually is frequently, it doesn't always show up like this. Sometimes it just kind of pops up in little surface deposits, but it's not really the whole biome. So it's really cool to have a whole biome. By the way, I just want to check something. Oh, yeah, let's do normal. So I had turned it to peaceful in my testing, and I realized that no mobs were spawning, so I fixed that. So lest anybody think I'm pulling a fast one. Okay, so the mobs are starting to spawn. So for a first night survival shelter, you know, and you really do want to build some sort of shelter because these mobs are intense if you don't. I'm just going to go like this and build this out. Okay, and it's not going to be necessarily the prettiest shelter in the world, but it'll get the job done. Yeah, that should be good. A little bit worried about skellies through the window there, but whatever. And that should protect me from at least any melee combat type mobs. And then if a skeleton comes, I guess I can figure something out. But actually next to the ocean like this, there's only half the available places to spawn. And we'll see what happens. The skeletons generally don't detect you by visual. Okay, so now that it's nighttime, let's go ahead and set up a fire. So we're going to do it right here. I'm worried about burning this down, so I'm going to do it as far away from the wood as I can. You just throw 3 sticks on the ground. You take 2 other sticks. You make a fire starter with its diagonal pattern. And you basically start a fire by rubbing 2 sticks together. And if successful, it will light up the area and it will create this little fire. Now, it'd be nice if I had a log to stick in there, but I don't. So what I'm going to do, I really should... yeah, I gotta get one of these logs. Okay. I want to cook that venison, the deer meat. And so what I have to do is I have to, whoa, be careful first and foremost. So I put that pine log on. Now that's going to raise my temp over here. And by the way, if you throw sticks on the fire, you can create 2 torches at a time. Again, this is one reason why it's a lot harder than vanilla Minecraft, is because it takes a lot longer to do anything. Okay, if you have a knife in your inventory and you hover over some meat and you push S, it'll consolidate it with other meats of the same type. And then you're going to put the meat on the fire. I've got 8 torches now. That should be sufficient for now. And that way when the fire goes out, I'll still be able to see. As you can see, it says warm on the protein there, on the meat. And this 1 log should be enough to get it at least to the stage of being cooked. It should say hot very soon. I might chop down one of, just have another log ready just in case. There's an Enderman and there's some zombies starting to spawn. I could maybe take on one, but it'd be difficult to take on others. Okay, now you see this venison is medium rare. Medium. I'm going to cook it medium well. It tends to last longer that way, I think. Plus, it's venison. It's not like it's a cow steak, so I don't really feel like I need to keep it nice and rare like I would with a steak. But let me just use the rest of this fire and make some torches here. And then the other thing we can start thinking about doing is making some clay stuff while we wait for the sun to come out. Unlike vanilla Minecraft, actually, in some ways, very much like vanilla Minecraft when you first start it, in TFC, you really, really are going to struggle if you don't sleep through the night. I'm using this clay molding mechanic, which is similar to napping, except for this one, you're what's left. It's very similar, actually. So this is just, we're making shapes that are useful. So we made these 2 vessels by taking out the corners. Now I could make a large vessel, but I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make a water jug. So that looks like this. Let's see. So basically it's a jug shape with a handle right there. And then I'm going to make I guess I'll make another vessel for now. That's probably going to be the most useful for me at this stage in the game. And my fire is out. I'm going to leave that there for looks. Now, in order to fire this clay, by the way, I ate some of that deer meat in case you didn't notice. You're going to have to grab some resources like this. It's very dangerous to do this at night, but since I'm right on the edge of a beach and probably lucked out a little bit by having peaceful mode on right at the beginning of the night, because I feel like I was able to isolate this little corner and get it to a place where mobs can't spawn a lot faster than, just by virtue of the fact that I was here. as opposed to, ooh, that's dangerous. Well, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I was lucky that I was able to avoid having a lot of mobs. Now, in order to make this work, you have to do what's called a pit kiln. In order to do a pit kiln, I need logs, and I'm not sure I'm going to even have enough time before it turns back into day to get this done, but at least I'll have what I need to get it done tomorrow night. So I'm going to get some logs. I need 8. I think I might go for it right now. And we got the music coming in, which is cool. This is a little bit different than vanilla Minecraft. And I really like the music. It really does kind of call to mind sort of this survival type thing. So now what you do is you dig a hole like that. I think you have to use dirt, but maybe sand would work. I'm not sure. And then you sneak right click these down into the hole. You put 8 straw down like this. And you put 8 logs on top. I need 2 more. I'm really hoping that none of these enemies come over here, because I would be pretty screwed if they did. I might try to remember this little area as sort of a nomadic shelter kind of place. Now you can light this with the fire starter, or you can, once you have torches, you can just throw a torch on top and it'll give you a guaranteed light. The fire starter, it's a percentage chance kind of thing. And there are things that go into it, like different factors that play into whether you're going to be successful lighting your fire. So that thing takes 8 hours of in-game time, which means that the sun is going to be well up by the time it's done. And actually with the NEI, or actually it's a Wyla, what am I looking at mod, you can really, and by the way, I'm just gathering up some rocks and stuff. Yeah, I've got the chert and I've got the dacite. Is that dacite? Yeah. Oh, so does it turn into dacite, or is it? Oh, that's so weird, because I've got dacite, chert, and marble. So that's like dacite over here or something, I thought. I saw. Oh, I must have been just clicking on the wrong item in my inventory. Never mind. There's no dacite here. Okay, so let me show you that fire using the Wyla mod, which I highly recommend. And if you don't have it, frankly, I don't know how anybody can play this mod without some basic add-ons like Wyla, journey map, of course. By the way, here's where I've been so far. And I think I'm just going to keep going down the coast until I find maybe one more rock type and then make a decision about where to settle. Or if I find a really cool place to settle, I might just do it. But as you can see, it's only been 2 hours, so I've got 6 hours remaining there. In the meantime, the sun is coming up, which is great. Now let me show you something while we're waiting on that pit kiln. By the way, that's going to expand my storage capacity. I'm building 1 water jug and 3 vessels. The vessels each have slots to store 4 things, which means that my carrying capacity is going to expand by 3 times 3, because there's going to be 3 extra spaces in my inventory for 3 extra slots that the vessel creates. So it's going to 4, 4, 4 as opposed to 1. And that's going to be 9 extra slots. And it's not a lot, but it's enough to notice. So this thing is 5 hours remaining. So actually what I might want to do is just poke around while that's going and not waste any of my time. I really do need... Ooh, there's a bone. Bone is far less useful. It's not completely... Ooh, yikes, there's skeletons. Those guys could kill me. By the way, those wither skeleton looking guys, they're javelin guys. They throw javelins, and the javelins really hurt. So watch out for that. Okay. So... Oh, arrow. I could make a bow if I had some string, but I had to kill some spiders if I wanted to do that. Spiders are very similar in TFC, except for they're a lot more powerful and fast and difficult to survive. So, word to the wise, avoid spiders unless you got some good weaponry. So, anyway, right now I'm basically just poking around looking for crops or the like. And we've got some pumpkins here. Now, pumpkins are useful. Pumpkins can be used to create torches that don't go out. See, I didn't tell you. Ooh, there's bears. I really gotta watch out for those bears. They would probably kill me if they attacked. But I really like to harvest these pumpkins, and this is the actually, it's this one that's going to be the dangerous one. Okay. The bears will run at you. They're NPC mods, so you can't breed them, or well, I don't think you can breed them, but either way, they start out as what I would say semi-hostile. They're not going to like seek you out like a zombie necessarily, but if you get close enough, they will attack you for sure, and they will kill you. They're very powerful, much more powerful than even these mods, which I'm already complaining about how dangerous those mobs are. Okay, so I'm going to call this an episode really soon once I get this pit kiln, and I might just go explore off camera a little bit until I find some other stuff, but that gives you kind of an introduction. My ultimate goal on this, just to kind of give you an idea as I wrap up, is I'd really like to use the custom NPCs mod to, and of course the other mods and in-game material, to build a snazzy looking little village or something, and to basically make it into a fun little area. I'd like to get basically an everything playthrough, which means I'd like to have one of every type of plant, one of every type of animal species, etc., every type of log. I've got 2 hours remaining. And just kind of have some fun and kick it, get a nice little area going. Did my axe break? No, it's... Oh, and you probably noticed when you chop down trees, it really takes forever. But it also gives you all the logs from the tree, and it's not just like vanilla Minecraft logs where you can just place them. They give you these other logs. I have 7 in my inventory right now. And then my axe just broke there, so I had to make another one. Axe is like this. You remove all of the corners, you make it into this shape, and then you go like that, and you sharpen it up. And then you put a stick on it, and it becomes an axe. I'm going to chop down this tree, and then... So I'd like to make that village. I'd like to have one of everything. I'd like to stockpile a whole bunch of different types of metals, and I'd like to just have a good time. I think it'll be a fun playthrough. I think you'll enjoy it. But anyway, it's been about my time, so I'm going to finish making these clay vessels and then get the camera off and get moving on this. But let me see if this is going to be done yet. Hold on. Eating a little deer steak. Okay, this is pretty much done. Let's just finish it up. Now you can shift right click to pick these things up once they're done, or you can simply punch the area and then all of them will pop out. And I'll show you that in just a second. Watch pot never boils, right? You could never have too much wood, really, except for when you're traveling. Like a nomad, you really do have to pay attention to how much space you have, inventory space. Okay, got my log there, and it's done. So here's what the finished product looks like, much darker in color, and I'll show you how to pop these out. Boom. So now we've got these vessels. Now what I'll show you on this, for vessels you can store things. So I'm going to put all my saplings in there, and I'm going to put, what should I put in there? I guess I'll put in the deer tendons, sure. Okay, so now I've freed up that space, and it's all in that thing. I can do the same thing here. I can put my chert rock, since I'm not going to need that. Probably I should just get rid of that, actually, because it's so common. I'll put these items, these other things. Well, I can't put those in, but okay, I guess I can somehow squeeze. I can't put 2 hides in there, but I can fit 15 pumpkins somehow. And this, how about that? And so you really can start to free up a lot of space by doing that. Basically, if used properly, you can free up, half your inventory. I don't really need to use that one right now, but I will later. Anyway, so that's how you use that. And then the water jug right here is going to be extremely important, and I'll show you why. I need to find cattails. So let me go along the coast and find some cattails. By the way, as you can tell, there's a different mechanic for the health bar. I have 979 hit points. That total number is going to go down over time the longer I go without getting all of the food groups, which you can see here. If you push E, you can click on this guy here, and that's your food groups there. And then just instantly, here's some basic skills in the game that get better over time, and here's the calendar date. Okay, so let me find some cattails. Not seeing any. This is all seawater here, you see. Oh, but I see something else I want. Up there, you can see some fruit. That is a fruit tree. I gotta go around it, looks like. Ah, shoot. Some of these beaches make it a little bit difficult to get up to the ledge, which is not entirely unrealistic. Like in real life, that happens all the time. I know when I've been to the beach, sometimes there's a little ledge there that you have to kind of crawl up or whatever. So I'm in the process of being distracted by this fruit tree, but it's definitely a worthwhile distraction. It looks like it's blooming. Oh, by the way, if you right-click the jug and you move it up and down like that, you're going to get notes. Okay, in order to harvest this fruit tree to get saplings, you have to hatchet these little branches like that. And so far, I'm getting really lucky, and I've gotten 2. They have about a 50% drop rate. So I've got 2 plum trees. That'll be handy whenever I do found a little base or settlement. I guess I'm going to go up here because I see some water up here. And I just want to show you this one last thing, and then we'll call it an episode. So, okay, there's some crops, by the way. I'm going to grab these on my way. This is wheat. This is a very important crop. And I could just let that mature all the way, but I'd like to get these seeds, and I really just don't have time. And I got the achievement gatherer. Okay, so let's go to this water here. Got some of that nifty Terrafirmacraft music coming in there too. So this is freshwater. You can tell by the cattails. It's often inland as opposed to on the coast, but not always. And if you just right-click the water, you get the jug filled. Now you can right-click without the jug. I'll show you what that does. If I put nothing in my hand and I just right-click, see my blue meter there? That's my thirst. That's going up slowly. Or you can just take the jug out and you drink a lot more at a time, and it's a lot faster. And you can carry it. So that's why I made the water jug. So now I've got my food needs, at least the immediate needs addressed, and my water needs. I've got some steak. I'm doing pretty well, and it's still daylight, so I've got plenty of exploration time that I can put in here. If I come across anything interesting, I will pick you up for that. But basically, if I see any crops or whatever, just routine crops sitting around like that wheat that I just harvested or the sugar cane or something, I will probably just go ahead and grab that off camera. And then we'll pick it back up once I find something interesting. So if you've been watching, I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to have this new series. And I'm so excited to get going on it. Ooh, cassiterite. This is a good transition point. So I'll call it an episode here, and we'll pick it up with this cassiterite. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Terrafirmacraft.